Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Dan from DHTV, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use Apple Intelligence on your iPhone or iPad. Let's get started. All right, so before we jump into the Apple Intelligence tutorial, first off, make sure you have a device that supports Apple Intelligence. So iPhone 15 Pro, iPhone 16 or newer, those will be supported, as well as the newer iPads. They'll have Apple Intelligence as well. Also, make sure you're updated to at least iOS 18.2 or later. There's links in the description that'll show you how to update your phone if you don't know how. But once you have it updated, you'll have access to Apple Intelligence. Now, we're going to go over turning on Apple Intelligence on the iPhone as well as configuring the Apple Intelligence settings first. And then we're going to get into some of the more advanced features, tips, writing tools, image playground, visual intelligence, and more. So if you do want to skip ahead, you can do so. There's chapters in the video description. Now you want to open your settings first and you want to scroll down to where it says Apple Intelligence and Siri here. This is where all of your Apple Intelligence information, settings, and configurations are going to take place. Once you have it open, this is the setting you want to turn on, Apple Intelligence. You're going to switch it on. It'll start to download. You can see downloading support for Apple Intelligence. And once it's downloaded, you'll have access to Apple Intelligence, which right here is a personal intelligence system integrated deeply into your iPhone apps and Siri. So if you don't even know what Apple Intelligence is, you're going to be very surprised at what I show you today in this video. So now that Apple Intelligence is set up, let's go over how you're going to have Siri configured so that it works with Apple Intelligence, as it's heavily integrated into Siri. So first one here is talk and type to Siri. We're going to open that, choose the way you want to access Siri. So I like this command. I like to use the side button, and I also want to be able to type to Siri, which is a new feature as well. And you can access that, it says, by double tapping the bottom edge of your phone, just like this. You can see how it lights up, and now you can type to Siri. Go over that in a bit. Go over any other Siri settings you'd like, and then we're going to go down to the Chat GPT settings. We're going to tap there, and this is where you can turn on Chat GPT. Now, this is optional. In this video, I'm going to turn it on. This is going to give you more access to things that AI can use within your iPhone. So specific searches with Siri, specific information you might want to get, ChatGPT is going to do a better job. So I'm going to tap Setup here, read through this, tap Next, and then read through this privacy and ChatGPT. So you're in control using ChatGPT with an account. So if you have an account, you can as well. And we're going to enable it right here. I do have an account. I'm not going to set it up, but you can see here, you can sign in if you'd like. You have daily limits on how many requests you can process through ChatGPT, and you can confirm the requests right here, which I suggest you leave on. So anytime you ask Siri a command, like if you're saying Siri to get you some recipe for chicken for dinner or something like that, and it's going to say, do you want me to use ChatGPT for this? You can say yes or no. If you don't want that request, you just want it to use ChatGPT whenever it wants, turn that off. Additionally, here you can download the app. Once you have ChatGPT installed, you can scroll down a little bit more here to the bottom where it says apps. And this is Apple Intelligence and Siri app access. Go to the apps, scroll through all of your apps, and just choose which ones you want Siri to learn from. I turn them off on a lot of my apps, especially my more important apps. You can just switch this on and off so that Siri doesn't learn from that. A little bit more privacy on your side of things. So now that Apple Intelligence is set up on your iPhone, let's go over some of the features. We're going to start with writing tools, where we can rewrite, proofread, and summarize text on the iPhone. And this can be done pretty much on any application that allows you to write. So notes, messages, and things like that. So for this example, let's just open up our Notes app here. And you'll notice right off the bat, this little icon here in the toolbar. You can tap on that and it's going to bring up all of those said writing tools. So when anything you have written up here, you'll be able to proofread it, rewrite it. You can even summarize text. You can make lists, tables, or even compose straight from the writing tools right here. So now that we have something written here, basic kind of tutorial that I'm creating for you guys, DHTV Apple Intelligence tutorial, and you can see what's written. Pause it if you really want to read this, but it's just a basic paragraph. Now, let's say I wanted to change it up or proofread it. Let's start with that. We're going to tap our writing tools button there, tap on Proofread. It's going to go over what I did, and you can see it wants to make 8 changes. Now, these are the changes that it wants to make. They're kind of underlined. If I tap Original, you'll see it goes back. I can also tap Original again to go back to the changes that it wants to make. If I tap on this little icon here, it's going to give me a little bit more information about each thing that it's going over. So if I just keep tapping, you can see it's changing here from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I can see exactly what the issue was for those specific things. And if I'm happy with this, I can tap Done. And now I've got the updated version that was proofread and corrected. In the same sense here, I can tap this button and I can use the rewrite tools here as well to rewrite this in a different way. So if I tap on rewrite, it's just going to rewrite it the way that AI feels it would be better. And this is what it came up with. Again, you can choose to see your original, take the original away. So it pulled my title right off, it made it longer. It basically took my sort of point form, made it more descriptive down here. You can tap rewrite if you're not happy with it again, tap done to save it, or revert to go back. Additionally, you have options down here to rewrite it in a more friendly way, professional or concise. Let's use professional, especially if you're not the best at sending out emails in a professional format. This is a great way to get what you're trying to say in a more professional format. Kindly like, share, subscribe to DHTV, and enable the bell notification. So instead of click the bell notification, it's saying enable. Things like that. Again, original, rewrite. We'll go back to original and revert. And let's just go over some of these options down here, the summary, key points, and list. Let's say we wanted a list. You just tap on that. A list will then be brought up, kind of giving you a list of what was said in this message. Now, this could be particularly useful, especially if you're in school or you have documents and you have a lot of things to read at once, or even if you're on a website. Anytime you have a lot of text, like this is a big review on the different iPhones, it's going to be a lot to read. You can use those summary points just by highlighting all that text, grab as much as you want. Just for this example, I'll stop this at the next paragraph end, I guess here, and I'll see the writing tools options. I tap those, pull up, use any one you want. But for this, let's say you just needed the key points, you need to read through it fast, you don't have the time to go through it all. It's going to pull it all up right here in point form, and we can just kind of go through it and see the AI features, performance, camera control, camera quality, new camera features that quick. So instead of reading like 10 paragraphs, we've got about 10 points here that are much shorter and easier to go through. Play around with these down here as well. You also have the ability to describe your change anytime you want. So for example, this right here, I can say something like, make this more appealing to a tech-friendly audience, and that will entice them to subscribe to the channel. And then hit that. Now, I did get prompted because ChatGPT is involved. I'm going to allow it to use ChatGPT. Anytime that comes up, you can decide yes or no. And now it's completely changed this into a more appealing message that I would maybe be sending on X or other social media platforms to tell people about what I'm doing, and I want you guys to subscribe. So I can use that. And additionally, when ChatGPT gets involved, you get all of these extra options too. Refining it with ChatGPT. And in this instance, the suggestions by ChatGPT are as follows. They'll be different depending on your situation. So I'm just going to revert back. And the last one here is a compose. So if I just removed this whole message here and we tap here, I can literally come down here and it's going to use ChatGPT to compose whatever I'm looking for. So I can just tap right here and I'm going to use this again. Create a quick paragraph for people who are looking to learn how to use Apple Intelligence on their iPhone and how my YouTube channel can help them learn this. Create a call to action to like, subscribe, and share. Hit send, let it do its thing, just like that. You've got this nice paragraph here. You can modify it, like I said, but this has huge potential in work situations, social media situations, for fun. It's endless. And if you've ever used ChatGPT itself, this being integrated right here is so much easier now on your iPhone and your iPad. Now, if ever you don't see this little icon or this one right here, that pops up in the little box, you do have options because these quick settings will appear in messages and things like that. You can just highlight what you want because sometimes you may not want to highlight the whole set of text. And when you highlight it, you'll see that it'll appear down here. But in general, you always have this option in your toolbar that appears that you can kind of go back and forth, and it'll allow you to select writing tools to bring up all of those tools as well. And like I said, anywhere where you have writing abilities, you should be able to get this feature. So even in iMessage here, if I wanted to type a message, I can just highlight my text, tap on writing tools here, and they're all there for me so I can change up this text in a better way. Next, let's go over the new application called Image Playground. Now, this is a standalone application that you can see down here. It's also heavily integrated within other apps like Notes. But let's start by opening up the Playground app on our iPhone here. And if you've never opened it before, you may be prompted. It'll give you a quick description of what it is, how you can use it. Just accept, get through it, get to this section here. I'll show you how it works. First off here, it's giving me some suggestions here. So it's got a picture of me when I was at the beach, and it's got some suggestions of other things that you can create here. You can tap show more and see more themes. You can go through this little list, and these can all be changed and added in to whatever images you create, because Apple Intelligence is going to use this app to create AI built images, and they're really crazy looking if you ask and use them effectively. So let me show you how it works here. First thing, tap here, you can describe an image. So you can type it in or tap here and just describe it. Because we're on video, I'll just describe it. Create an image of a dinosaur eating and create it in a cartoon format. We'll tap to send it. It's going to start creating using the AI. There's our little dinosaur. And look at how cool that looks. Like legit, that picture could be used now in a PowerPoint presentation, a social media post, or anything like that. And it didn't just create one. You can swipe and you can see different options or different variations of it. You can throw a baseball cap on top of it. And now the dinosaur's got a hat. And I've used other AI tools to generate images that work very similar, but to have this on your phone, just the ability right here, is great. Now, whenever you're happy with your image, you can always tap these three dots up here. You can copy it, share it out using messages, email, save the image right there. You can also save it right from here. When you're done, you tap done up here. Again, you can share it, delete it, edit, tap up here to duplicate it, copy, or even add a caption of what this might be. And if you want to save it, all you have to do here is just click the X. It's going to save it to your library of created AI images using the Playground app. So you can always come back here, modify them, add them, use them, and so on. To go back to the main page, you just hit the plus and it takes you back. Next, you can actually use your own photos and change them up as well. So for this, you're going to tap this little plus. You can choose a photo or take a photo. We'll choose here, and it'll open up your photo library here. You can go through your collections, all nature, cities, all that stuff that you want. I'm going to use just a quick picture of myself here, and you just give it a tap. For example, this one at me at the beach, I've got sunglasses on, and it's going to create that generated AI image of myself. I like that. That looks pretty good. I can then tap show more here. I can change different themes. So let's say I wanted it to be a winter holiday. I can add that in as well. And now you'll see the background there changes to a winter background. I'm getting a few different options of that as well. And it's really fun. So whether you're using this in a professional standpoint or for social media or just for fun for yourself, because you can save these and then add them to your own profile pictures or even your iPhone profile picture if you'd like as well. And it works just the same. You can also tap here and change something. Add flames and lightning. Tap here and it'll add that in as well. You can just do whatever you want really here. And there you go. So we've got flames, not so much the lightning, but maybe some of these flames. Really cool. The last option we're going to look at here is this one with the person icon. And when you open that, you'll be able to see all the people that you have in your people section of your photo stream, or you can create a digital AI image of a person from scratch here. Tapping on it will just generate a random image of a person, and you'll see how it looks right there. Pretty cool, and you can swipe through it. You can tap edit here, and it'll bring up the editor so you can change how the appearance is going to look. So if you wanted to change the skin color, maybe change it into a female, it'll create that image just like that. You can swipe through them as well as they're being built, just like that. Now, like I said, other apps tie into the image playground pretty heavily. For example, the Notes app. So I've just flipped to a new note here so we have more space. But what we're going to focus on is this paperclip. Tap there and then tap Image Playground, and it's going to open up a very similar page just like the Playground app. So we're going to describe an image like we did before. Create a dinosaur eating, and we'll send that. This time, this is what the AI created. One thing I don't like about the Notes app version of this, you're kind of stuck with these little bubbles all around until you complete your photo, which covers some of the face. You can tap this plus here, and this is where you're going to get these styles. And I didn't mention this in the Playground app, but they have these as well. So if you want it to be animated, you could. If you want it to be illustrated, you could, and you'll see how it'll look differently as well. Same sort of options you have available to you. You can save it, share it, copy it. You can tap done up here and that'll get rid of the box. And now it's available to you in your note. You can resize it here if you are creating something in notes. You can utilize it any way you want. You can always tap this, which will allow you to then generate your same dinosaur in a different way. Now, additionally, there's an option within Notes here, this right here, which is your markup or drawing tool. And this gives you the image wand tool. And we can tap on that right here. And all we have to do is just kind of draw a circle here and we get the same thing like we did in the Playground app where it asks you to describe an image. Create an image of a cat in a forest with trees around. And there we go. We have our cat in the forest. And you can do the same thing like you did with Playground. But now you can add this into whatever you've been drawing on your Notes app. So if you were drawing something, you have this here, and it can be added to your image. You can make modifications with the drawing tools here as well. So it works very similar, but you also have access to it in your toolbar when you are marking things up on your iPhone. Now let's look at one of the most hyped up features built into the iPhone 16s, and you do need an iPhone 16 or 16 Pro for this one because you do need this camera control button on the side to access it. And this feature is called Visual Intelligence. The way it works, you're going to press and hold on that button. You're then just going to take a picture of something. I'm going to take a picture of this kinetic sand, and it's going to pull up all the information. So whether it's a dog, a plant, a flower, and it's supposed to tell you that information. On Apple's Keynote, it popped up right here. For me, it's not, but that's okay. I can still search it right here on Google, and it'll pull up Google searches of kinetic sand to give me more information. And this is great if you're price matching or anything like that. You can use that for that service. You can also ask ChatGPT here, and it'll pull up information based on what it sees. So it's telling me about kinetic sand right here, that it's a sensory toy. I can ask for details and follow up on it. You'll also notice things that pop up like translate, calendar events, phone numbers, etc. One of the big things Apple showed off was its ability to kind of show menus and tell you about places. So this is the Hard Rock Cafe here. We'll take a quick picture. This is a New York location. So pretending like I'm there, I'm like, oh, what is that? I take a picture using the visual intelligence here, and it's giving me search and ask. So again, Google search will pop up this location, pretty popular. I can tap and see things about it, or I come back and I tap and ask ChatGPT for more information, and it'll tell me the Hard Rock Cafe is known for its rock and roll memorabilia and things like that. And I can say what's on the menu, and rather than showing me a menu, it's saying typically includes a variety of American dishes like burgers, sandwiches, salads, and so on. Now, the only thing I don't like about this is that when Apple's Keynote appeared, when they took pictures of things, automatically it would pop up at the top. We didn't have to tap down here. But it still works, and it's still good for quick information. If you do eBay, the searches for products and things like that would be a good feature. Asking if you're into plants, like let's test this out on a plant here. So I have a plant right there. This is actually a fake plant. So let's see if ChatGPT knows the difference. And it's asking right now, This plant looks like an artificial potted plant, so it's decorative. So it does. It works good. Maybe it's because I'm in Canada that I don't have that extra feature where it just appears up top. But test it out for yourself. It's a very big feature. Maybe updates will bring this to more countries in the world with the automatic information like a menu or the dog type or even the type of potted flower this was automatically. But for now, you have the ability to use ChatGPT and Google at your fingertips with visual intelligence on the iPhone 16. But now let's move over to our Photos app and look at the new cleanup tool built in to the iPhones that's going to use AI and Apple Intelligence to remove unwanted things from your iPhone. So I got my photo open here. You just want to open it up and you just give it a tap. You want to see the toolbar appear at the bottom. You're going to tap on this little icon with the 3 lines. It's going to bring up your editing tools for your iPhone photos. Now the new option is called Cleanup, and you can see it at the bottom right. Whenever you give it a tap, it's going to automatically start preparing, and it's going to look for things on its own that it wants to remove from your iPhone. To move around, you're going to use 2 fingers, so you can pan, zoom, kind of move around on the screen. And whenever you want to select something that you want to clean up, you're going to use 1 finger to circle it and clean that up. So for example, let's say I wanted to remove this sign right here. I'm going to remove that. Now, Apple Intelligence is already trying to remove this option right here, this thing right here. I don't have to tap on it if I don't want to use it. I can just go over the other things that I want to remove from this photo. So let's say I didn't want this red bucket there, gone. If I didn't want this red bucket there, it's gone as well. And that one way down there, let's get that one. I don't want that one there either. And now if I zoom back out to my photo, the original, those items are no longer in the photo. Again, this one might be in the way. This one, these ones right here, get those out of the way. And it's just going to remove them. Keep in mind, it's easier for the AI to remove obvious things like this or a person in the background. You saw that edge that I did there? If I zoom in on it, you can see it kind of looks a little grainy, not the greatest of removal. I can try to fix it by going back over a certain section, but the more you play around with it, you can see it gets this pattern effect. Hopefully it's able to be seen on camera. Great for moving like unwanted objects in the background of photos or somebody photobombing you, something like that. But if I wanted to remove this whole white door, watch what happens. We get an effect like this where now these windows or whatever it used to process have kind of ruined the look of that barn. You have undo options at the top here. It'll undo those unwanted cleanups that you created. Takes a bit to go back, but now I'm back to my original barn door. But side by side, you can see how much it removed, and it does look fairly good, even though I removed quite a few things and I really pushed its boundaries in this corner here with all those bushes and black spots that kind of look the same. Did a decent job. Use it. It's very helpful. Like I said, in photobombing situations or just the odd item that just doesn't fit in the photo. Now let's move on to Genmojis, a really cool feature that allows you to create custom emojis, and you can access this in your messaging app. So open iMessage and open a conversation or start a new one and tap on the emojis icon at the bottom left. You'll now notice a little option here with a little plus, and you also have a search bar that says describe an emoji. So let's tap on this little icon here and describe an emoji. Create a Santa that's crying. And just like that, you've created your own custom emoji. You can tap on the 3 dots up here, save it as a sticker, add captions, share it, or otherwise tap add up top here, and it's going to be added to your message. Now, when you create your Genmojis here, we'll do another one. Create a dinosaur face that's happy. So just like when you were using Playground, you do get multiple at times. For some reason, the Santa didn't give me those multiples. But whenever you save it, which is just by tapping add here, but if you ever need to access it, this little half circle, I believe it's the stickers icon here. If you tap on that, you'll see the created custom Genmojis you created with Apple Intelligence, as well as all of your stickers. Next, in your Photos application, if you scroll down, you'll be taken to the memory section, which now has Apple Intelligence built in. And memories are those little videos that Apple would create of different days or moments, and you can create them for yourself now, going to this or tapping create. And when you do that, you can tell Siri with the Apple Intelligence here what you want this memory to be created of. So I'm just going to say something like iPhones and tech, and I'm going to tap done. It's going to start going through all the photos in my photo library looking for what I asked for. You could say winter photos, you could say summer vacation or palm trees or beaches, and it'll put them together. Music will be involved in it as well. I've lowered it so I can talk, but this is actually going over when I fixed my fridge because I guess it's using that as tech and my thermostat. So it's going to pull that and create those moments for you just like this. You can always tap on them, pause them. You have options at the top here so that you can edit the movie timeline, edit the movie title, share the movie, and so on. One feature here, if you edit the movie timeline, you can actually add more photos in by tapping the plus, or even remove them by checking the check mark there, tapping on one and deleting it. Right here, it's going to delete it from the library. It will be in the recently deleted for 30 days. When you're done, you can just tap up here, tap the back button, tap done, and now it's saved as the first option in your memories tab, created and giving you a preview just like that. So now let's switch over to Siri and how it's been overhauled with ChatGPT as well as Apple Intelligence within it. So based on how your settings were set up, you can use your command to access Siri. I'm going to use the side button so it doesn't activate all of yours. But basically, Siri now has natural language processing, text-based commands that you can ask, which are very good, especially in gym scenarios. And then it also has context awareness. So let's start by activating Siri using the chat option, which is just tapping at the bottom here and you see that little icon. But if you give it a few taps, it'll bring up the keyboard here and you can type to Siri and ask it a question. And the answer will appear on screen without you having to talk to it. So this is great. Like I said, gym scenarios for me is probably going to be best used. Additionally, you have abilities to have ChatGPT integrated here, so you can use more conversational tones and ask it things. So for example, I need to make dinner tonight. I need some ideas of a chicken dinner and I need the full recipe. Just like that, because I have ChatGPT prompting me, it's asking me. If you didn't have that set up, it would go ahead and do that. So I'm going to say use ChatGPT. Even though I said all of that, it's knowing that I'm asking it to use ChatGPT. So that's that kind of context awareness there. But here you go. We've got our full chicken recipe here, what you're going to need, instructions on preheating, just like that. So this is a great feature just for things like this or more advanced things. And it's endless on what you can use it for. You got to use your imagination and kind of dig deep into what you're asking. The next feature we're going to look at in the Apple Intelligence tutorial here is notifications, and mainly the summarization and focus integrations that are built within them. So if we pull our notification center down here, you'll see first off, I have groups of notifications here. So this one has 3, this one has 8, this one has 13, and the first one has 21. You'll also see that it has summarized what's going on in those 21 messages. It says multiple people detected in office hallway, front door status changed multiple times. The system is not armed. If I tap on that, now it'll show me all of those notifications, like the arming reminders, the front door was closed, things like that. So from settings in notifications, we can configure summarized notifications on or off. They're on right now. You can turn them all off or just turn them off per application, depending on what you want them to be summarizing. You can also set a scheduled summary. So if we turn that on here, you can set a schedule for the time. So we'll just leave it at 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And you can choose which applications are going to be in this summary. So for example, Gmail, you can put your camera, you can put anything you want in there. And now if you pull Notification Center down, it shows that upcoming summary of notifications you have. This way, you're less bothered throughout the time frames that you need, and you can focus more on what you're doing. I'm going to turn this off for now. It just doesn't apply to me at the moment. But this is how you can set up and customize your summarized notifications and focus integrations with Apple Intelligence on the iPhone. Moving over to the Mail app here, I rarely use it myself, but you are going to get some Apple Intelligence features built in. For example, I'm just going to start typing something here, and you'll see you can choose a sender, subject. It even searches your attachments if the name of the attachment contains that as well. So that's a little bit better than before. It'll notify you of things like if you're missing an attachment when you're sending out an email. For example, you say I've attached the file, but you didn't attach it. You try to send it here. It's going to prompt you, did you mean to add an attachment? This is something that's been available already in a million different services, so it's not too big, but I guess it's big now because it's in the Mail app. And these features combine to make the email management in this app faster, smarter, and more efficient. However, I've never used it in the past 10 years, so I can't say how much better this is going to be. Your best bet is to test it out for yourself, as there's nothing like a special button here to press or anything. It's more or less using it how you did in the past. It's just much more refined and better with what you're doing. Now let's go over some Apple Intelligence tips and tricks that you can use to enhance your experience with it. When in applications like Playground or Notes app and you're creating images, here are some tips for effective prompts. So if I was going to create one here, you want to try to be specific. The subject, so what the image should include, a style, which could be sketch, watercolor, realistic animation, etc. And then the details, colors, lighting, mood, or objects. So for example, create an image of a dog in a doghouse during a sunny day and make it animated. And there you have it. That way you give it the best chance of producing a good image. The next Apple Intelligence tip is in your settings. You're going to want to scroll down to privacy and security, and you're going to scroll down almost to the bottom here where you see Apple Intelligence Report. You can tap on this. You can use this to give you insight on how Apple's AI processed your data. You can set the report duration for 15 minutes, 7 days, or off. You can also export this information to any of your files, apps, or wherever you'd like as well. Now, this next tip is not really a tip, but more like a feature that you have with it. So if you open up your settings, general, and your CarPlay, you have the ability to use Apple Intelligence in your car now. So when you ask Siri a question, hey Siri, what can you tell me about the Eiffel Tower?
The Eiffel Tower is a wrought iron lattice tower on the Champ de Mars in Paris, France.
It's much better, where before it would say things like, I can't search the web right now because you're driving or whatever. Now it'll actually read it back to you right through your CarPlay app. So that's pretty much it. That's everything I could find on my device for Apple Intelligence and what it can do for you. There's obviously going to be some other things that I missed and things that get brought into Apple Intelligence as it grows. If you find something or have a suggestion or I missed something, let me know in the comments. This video was extremely difficult for me to make, and it took me a very long time, mainly because I was having issues with Apple Intelligence. So if you guys could hit that like button just to help this video get viewed by others, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification box to be notified when I post new videos. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I try to respond to as many comments that I can, so you'll most likely get an answer. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.